When word of Abraham Lincoln's death began to spread in the morning of April 15, 1865, 3 recently discharged Union Army officers got together to offer their services to the Republic and to perhaps form the vanguard of a new organization. Within a few months, the organization did grow. They adopted the name Military Order of the Loyal Legion of the United States. That organization grew eventually to include about 12,000 men who had served as commissioned officers in the armed forces of the Union. The organization was formed initially as a means of providing a way for people to express their continued allegiance to the government and to guard against any future opposition to it. It grew into eventually a social and political organization where these former officers gathered to stake their claim and make their positions known. Among the members of the Loyal Legion who became President of the United States were Ulysses Grant, Benjamin Harrison, Rutherford B. Hayes, William McKinley. Other notables who served as both members of the Loyal Legion and in high government positions are Russell Alger and Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes. One of the early decisions that the members of the Loyal Legion made was that their descendants could join as members as well. So among those descendants who joined were General Douglas MacArthur, General Billy Mitchell, the father of the Air Force, and General Jonathan Wainwright, the hero of Corregidor. Given the caliber of these men, we feel we're in very, very good company.
On July 2nd, 1863, on the second day of the battle, de Trobriand's brigade, the 3rd Brigade of the 1st Division of the 3rd Corps, lined up on the defensive line along this area out here. Colonel de Trobriand was on horseback, patrolling the line, wondering when the attack would take place. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, General Hood sent his troops up against the de Trobriand's troops. And for 3 hours, wave after wave of Hood's troops attacked and attacked. They defended for over 3 hours and losing man after man. Over 1/3 of the brigade was lost defending the position. As their forces were weakened and they didn't have as many men as they needed, and as their ammunition was running dry, he was replaced and reinforced with another brigade. De Trobriand and his brigade retired back to the wheat field in a reserve position, ready to go back into action if needed. The casualties that were suffered, if you look at this plaque, were over almost 500. 490 men were lost. After his military career, he did join the Military Order of the Loyal Legion and was one of the original members. And since then, generations of his descendants, from my grandfather down to my grandsons, have become MOLLUS members, honoring not only de Trobriand, but all of the men who served with him. After the war, de Trobriand was always a writer, but he wrote his memoirs of the Civil War, including the book 4 Years with the Army of the Potomac. In addition to that, he also painted several paintings. In fact, he painted one painting of his position here that he defended, which now hangs at the Visitor Center at Gettysburg.
My name is Lieutenant Hobart Kistler. I'm from State College, Pennsylvania, and I'm a submarine supply officer in the United States Navy. Graduated in 2013 from the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. I joined the Military Order of the Loyal Legion in honor of the sacrifice of my ancestor, Major Frank Zentmeyer, a law student turned soldier who was killed in action leading the charge of the 5th Pennsylvania Reserves at the Slaughter Pen, Fredericksburg, Virginia, December 13, 1862.
Hi, I am Eric Rojo, from the Washington, D.C. Commander of the Military Order of the Loyal Legion of the United States. I reside in Mexico City, and I have the privilege and the honor to be the 62nd Commander-in-Chief of the Legion. And with this, if you have Civil War ancestry on the northern side, we invite you to look into your ancestors and hopefully you will join this esteemed organization.
Our function is remembrance. The Loyal Legion today is made up of companions who live throughout the country, people who are descendants of officers of the Union Armed Forces, and other interested persons. Our main functions are to engage in community events and historic preservation. In 1961, companions of the Loyal Legion gathered in New York City to make former President Herbert Hoover an honorary member. The keynote speaker that night was General Douglas MacArthur. And during his talk, General MacArthur said that the Loyal Legion was the noblest of the American hereditary orders. And we're very, very proud of that.
You have done all that a university can do to fan the spark in me. I will try to maintain the honor you have bestowed. And how marvelously he has done so through the nearly 50 years which have passed since then. Justice Holmes will now speak to you from Washington, D.C.
In this symposium, my part is only to sit in silence. To express one's feelings as the end draws near is too intimate a task. But I may mention one thought that comes to me as a listener in. The riders in a race do not stop short when they reach the goal. There is a little finishing canter before coming to a standstill. There is time to hear the kind voice of friends and to say to oneself, the work is done. But just as one says that, the answer comes, the race is over, but the work never is done while the power to work remains. The canter that brings you to a standstill need not be only coming to rest. It cannot be while you still live. But to live is to function. That is all there is in living. And so I end with a line from a Latin poet who uttered the message more than 1,500 years ago. Death, death plucks my ear and says, live, I am coming.
Thank you, Mr. Justice.